Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a follow-up video. Now, I believe my video that I've made on this topic before, on the topic of Destery Smith, I'll link that down below in case you aren't caught up with everything that has been occurring in relation. Basically, the TLDR is that this person is an OG YouTuber who has been on the platform for a decade at least. About a month ago or so, he was accused of grooming. So he was accused of very, very severe crimes. He took a very long time to respond, and only a couple of days ago he did respond, if you can call what he posted a response, which you'll see. And I kind of wanted to react to it because the genre on YouTube of apologies has always been really interesting to me, especially when it's an OG YouTuber, because you'd think they've been on the platform for long enough to see so many people have to apologize for a variety of things. And yet this, in my opinion, was just, we weren't really far from the gray hoodie, no makeup. Let's just put it that way.
So I took some time away from the internet to try to assess how to handle everything going on right now, in the hopes that what I say will reach an actual audience and not just people that want to see me fall. So first off, I just want to say I am aware of accusations being made against me. And what I can say is, while I can't agree with some of the things being said about me, I'm also not completely innocent in everything. I will say that nothing is completely black and white. There are obviously two sides to every story, and especially the ones that I can personally take accountability for. So what I can and will admit to is that I used to be just a terrible person. I was a big piece of shit. I have been very vocal about the fact that I was a big piece of shit. It has never been something that I've ever tried to hide. In fact, my mom will be the first person to tell you that I was a terrible person. I was a liar, a cheater. I was a giant man whore in my past. I tried to see multiple women at the same time. A terrible friend? Absolutely. But do I think I'm any of those things anymore? No, I really don't. Am I any of the other things that people are saying?
Based on this first clip of just the whole introduction to this, the video is in total about 4 minutes and some. The comments are off and the likes and dislikes are off, which becomes ironic later, but we'll get there. To me, this whole introduction or preface is already an issue because this isn't like a makeup scandal. This isn't someone making a shitty palette. This is crime against children, allegedly. Those are what the allegations are. So to say you were a shitty person in the past, to say that you were a cheater in the past, to say you were a bad friend, none of those things are anywhere near the same level as being a groomer and a predator towards minors. So to count that as like mistakes and being shitty is not only surreal, but it's almost like you're relying on people to not know what you're talking about. So then the implication here is, oh yeah, I did shitty things, but I'm a human and I make mistakes like everyone else. But that's not the case. These aren't mistakes like everyone else. These quote unquote mistakes he's talking about, like people go to jail for these things. Like people are put on sex offender registries. Like these are not the same category of mistake as being a shitty friend or a cheater, which you guys know, cheating for me is already like a horrible thing, but this is nowhere near. This is a completely different thing. So to not even mention what the mistakes that he's being accused of are is also a very particular choice, because again, it seems like he's kind of relying on people to not exactly know what people are actually mad about, and so they just think they're actually stupid mistakes like the ones any random human would make.
Am I any of the other things that people are saying about me? Absolutely not. However, I am constantly sorry about the person that I was, and I'm constantly saying sorry for the person that I was, constantly trying to distance myself from the person that I used to be even 5 years ago. And truthfully, I think I've come a long way. I mean, depending on how long you've watched me on this channel, I'm sure you can see the same thing about me and my content. I am not the same person I was 12 years ago when I started my first channel. And I'm grateful for that fact. I've made friends, I've lost friends, I've made lovers, I've lost those lovers. I've made constant mistakes, I've failed dozens of times. But each one of those things was a lesson that made me who I am today, and less of the person that I used to be and the qualities that I hated about myself. Whatever I was, I'm not that person anymore. That said, I am still human. Those aren't the last mistakes I'll ever make. And if there's anything I ever do that's shitty, that irks you, or I make you uncomfortable, or you think that I step over the line, communicate that with me. Let me know these things. Because another thing to note is that my brand is sexual jokes. My brand is weird, creepy humor. It's always been that way, and it will probably always be that way. It's just who I am, and that's presumably why you started watching me in the first place. But I would still like to be told when something I do crosses a boundary, whether that be something I say in a video or something that is proven to be true about me as a person.
So again, here we have the same iteration. Basically, I just think this is repetitive, but I do think it's interesting that he was using a lot of the past tense to say, I used to be this person, I changed since then, I've come a long way, but I will continue to make mistakes. And again, that's belittling the whole thing, because what you're being accused of isn't just random mistakes, but I just don't understand why he continues to repeat it if he's just hoping that by repeating, I'm different now, I made mistakes, if he says that like 70 times, that all of a sudden everyone's just gonna forget that, oh yeah, what you're being accused of is grooming, trying to take advantage of minors in the sense of, you know, them being naive or them being fans. So to not even mention that, I find manipulative, because it's like, apologizing without saying what you're apologizing for. What is that then? That's not an apology. The whole point of an apology is to take accountability for something that you did wrong, but nothing's being acknowledged here apart from being a shitty person back in the day. Also, I find it funny in a terrible way that he says, oh, if there's something that's wrong, please communicate it with me, but then the comments are off. So how is anyone supposed to communicate it with you? Unless that's through social media, but as far as I last checked, his social media was also privated. I don't know if he's accepting new followers right now, considering he's in hot water. So again, how is that communication supposed to occur if you're shutting down the most basic form of communication, which would be a comment, because nobody has to follow you or request to follow you? That doesn't come off as genuine. Whether he means it or not, of course, I will never know, but it doesn't come off as genuine if you say, tell me about it, and then everything's shut down so nobody can anyway.
And with any accusation, normally in an ideal world, you are innocent until proven guilty, but I have only ever seen it to be the opposite. Anyone online is always guilty until proven innocent, and I can't support that idea. And as such, I know that a ton of people have already made up their minds about this situation, and even if I was to explain context of some of the things being said about me, not only would it not help people's image of me, but it would also be dragging someone else's name through the mud. And that is just something I can't do. Even if it exonerates me and everything is great, but it was at the expense of someone else being thrown under the bus, I just won't do it. So I understand that some of you won't accept that answer, and if this is where we say goodbye, I understand. Just know that I feel blessed to have been in your life at all. But to those who choose to continue to grow with me, just know that I will continue to distance myself from the piece of shit that I used to be. I have been, and I will continue to strive every day to be the best version of myself.
I think this is the part where he never had me in the first place, but this is a part where I'm completely lost, because I could not imagine someone or multiple people accusing me of grooming them, and me allegedly, or Destery Smith in this case, allegedly having receipts to prove it's not true and not using them because someone else is going to get into trouble in some way. Like, that to me is the most difficult thing to believe, because if there's anything you can be accused of in this day and age, pedophilia and grooming are probably some of the worst things to ever be accused of, and you're quote unquote innocent, but you're not going to say anything. Like, I cannot believe that. I genuinely cannot believe that. And it's also, how convenient is it? Because even if you don't have proof, and even if you potentially allegedly did do the thing, you can just be like, oh, well, I don't want to drag someone in the mud, so just trust me, I didn't do anything. That makes zero sense to me. And it's also like, why are you defending someone else? Because what does that even mean, that you're going to drag someone else through the mud? Does that mean that they did something? That by exonerating yourself, you're going to prove that they did something? Like, why are you, like, that's the thing that I'm also wondering. Who exactly are you protecting here? If there is someone to protect, if we believe that he allegedly has these receipts to show that the allegations aren't true. Again, this makes zero sense to me, and it's also a non-apology. I understand the point that he was trying to make about guilty until proven innocent online, which to some extent we've seen in different cases when people just make unfounded allegations with no proof. But here, the reason why people wanted a response is because there were multiple accounts that came out with believable evidence that did effectively make it look like something inappropriate did occur. And that's why people wanted a response. Here, alleged evidence came out and people just wanted a response from you, but you went MIA for about a month. And that's why people now have difficulty accepting what you're saying, because you're not saying anything after being absent when people were really expecting him to come back with either an actual apology, an explanation, an exoneration, whatever it is, but there was nothing.
And as I said, if I ever slip up or you feel like I fail, communicate that with me. Also, really quick, I do want to say I disabled comments on this video simply to prevent people from fighting in the comments. The last thing I want to do is to spread any more negativity than has already been spread, so please understand the purpose in that decision. That said, feel free to reach out to me. If you do choose to reach out to me, please make sure it is one of the links in the description down below of this video. My previous 2 Snapchats were hacked, and on both occasions I reached out to Snapchat to see what could be done, and apparently nothing could be done about it. So for safety reasons, yes, please don't contact anyone saying that they're me. That isn't one of the links in the description down below. I don't have a Kik. I don't have a public phone number. I've posted tweets and Instagram stories at least twice a year for the last several years that this has been going on, mainly for everyone's safety, but also because I've seen some terrible shit come of that. So that being said, thank you for listening and for giving me a chance to be heard.
I think the aspect of turning off the comments is a little bit difficult to believe, because I don't really think there would be a lot of fighting in the comment section unless it's younger fans who can't understand maybe why people would see problems with this type of video. I really think that the majority of people seeing the video would probably be in agreement that it's a non-apology. Like, even imagining a fan who is of age to understand the allegations properly, I can't really imagine anyone completely defending this apology. Like, you can still be a fan and think this is like a crappy non-apology, because that's what it is, because there's no accountability taken except for being a shitty person and whatever. But that's not really what people were mad about in the first place. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always. Let's get right into the fan art.